Now I've played Jak and Daxter and it's good. So the question is why? What makes it good? It's a cult classic that has had a re-release on the PlayStation 3, also many games in the series. From the cozy beginning, to the mega epic ending, to the painful reality of the PlayStation 2 era, and absolute game breaking situations that nearly had me hurling my controller. I will go deep into the game design here, which consists of many elements. First off, I'll do a quick main character concept. Have you ever met two people that are not alike, yet when together they blend into the same person? They are friends, polar opposites of each other. Their personalities are too far in one direction to be balanced, but together they become relevant? Very interesting stuff. I will come back to this later on.
So it seems the answer begins not with careful research.
Jak and Daxter begins with a lengthy cutscene, which explains how Daxter became a rodent and why they need to go on an adventure. The cutscene also outlines a mysterious ancient race that nothing can recall, not even the rocks can recall.
The sage yaps on about the precursors that built this place all the time. Where did they go? Why did they build this crap?
The intro is well animated and well voiced. The score is also strong. This is, from the beginning, a high budget affair.
Keep yapping, because in my professional opinion, the change is an improvement. And besides, I couldn't help you if I wanted to.
What?
We begin on this beautiful peninsula, in a village. As far as adventure games go, this has to be the coziest beginning. I feel like I'm on holiday starting here. This cozy little village, made as cozy as possible with a nice day-night cycle, as NPCs talk to themselves in their houses.
Maybe I should raise taxes to pay for this mess.
I really love how compressed this first area is. The devs didn't get greedy with a large town. It's quick and to the point.
Hey! It looks like scout flies are always in red boxes!
Jak reminds me of a pirate and Daxter his parrot. You couldn't blame me for thinking that. I like how the camera changes methods when entering, say, the mayor's house. And I really like how you can stand in a nook, move to first person view, and now you can see more of the room. You can then look out the windows and see the distant islands. That's such a great idea. A very fun way of seeing more than you could otherwise. And perhaps finding treasure. The village is very charming. It's really just a mission board, a place to stack objectives. So it might be a bit like GTA.
I think she ran away to that misty island.
Yeah, well, everyone wants me to help them out. It's hard for a game to do anything else really.
It's the eco beam. I'll give you a power cell.
Character animations. The characters are animated in a style that reminds me of Asterix or something that is animated in the 80s. Makes sense. The animators working at Naughty Dog would have been the right age, exposed to those 80s cartoons like Asterix. This guy in particular reminds me of this character in Asterix. Probably because of his proportions, maybe he is copied. Look it up, see what you think. Straight off we have 3 branching pathways. We can go left, we can go right. We can enter the center path, but we won't get far as we need to upgrade our zoomer's hull so it may handle the heat of this fire canyon.
You can't just walk through it.
But you could fly over it if you had a zoomer equipped with a heat shield.
First thing we are told from Samos was he wants his green eco farm repaired.
Why don't you make yourself useful? My darn green eco-collectors are clogged up again.
I feel like the devs want us to go left more than right. It doesn't matter which way you go. If you're trying to beat the game efficiently, say your second playthrough, you will go right, because completing Forbidden Jungle will open up blue eco vents, which means you only have to do Sentinel Beach once. So what is Jak and Daxter? What is the game loop? I have an idea, but I just want to play for a bit, so come on this journey with me. What is a loop? Now this channel is about me finding core gameplay loops and taking inspiration from other games. so I may be well guided in my approach to design in my own creative endeavours. I'm building a handbook, which is this channel, that I can refer to often. The game loop is basically doing the same thing over and over. That thing you do might alter in different ways. It may get more difficult, introduce new actions, reveal different possibilities. I feel it's best to do Sentinel Beach first anyway. It's a more open area with less pitfalls. You can get used to the controls here. I'm enjoying my time, just finding orbs, running around on the beach, opening crates, and trying to work out how to kill these crabs. We are fixing the eco farms and chasing seagulls. It's a nice open environment to look around in. Towards the end of this beach we have some ancient structures from a civilization long ago, like how the Egyptians left behind so many mysteries for our imaginations to go wild over. Forbidden Jungle. This is more of a difficult area, not really in enemy difficulty, but there is a threat of getting it wrong by falling and taking damage, then having to reorientate yourself. The precursor elements are a lot less mysterious here, they are bold.
Who disturbs my slumber? Only one may enter here, one whose worth lies far within. Who awakens the oracle? Wait, one of you has the light within. From before time, I have watched and waited for the true hero to return.
The gods, sentient beings who, for whatever reason, died out. I love a good mystery. I'm just trying to think of what I can relate the precursor design to. Yes, Egyptians, that's the most obvious one. Mayans, all of the above. The anchor is what fascinates us all. That's why this slightly modified version here resonates. But what artistic style? Maybe Jetsons, or like a darker version? Something from the 70s. It's in the curves. All I can say here is futurism, a design pattern that is trying to mimic nature, which yes, inspired the 60s, 70s sci-fis like the Jetsons. It's always good to anchor visual style to a palette, establish design patterns that came before. With nature it's easy, trees, rocks and dirt. It's inherent, but with structure we have a myriad of inspirations. In my Bioshock video I covered this exactly, and how the foundation of design can really be traced back to the ancient past. Some nice touches here. The sound Jack's feet make when walking on this precursor metal. Sounds ancient. I think we are seeing the structures in an aged state, bronzed and rusted. You know, the Great Pyramids of Giza would have looked like this. A gleaming, glowing spectacle. Over the 8,000 years of standing, the white limestone that made it glow has worn off and the gold pilfered from the top. The precursor structure are not just static statues. They are powered gears, machines, harnessed versions of natural processes. Something our imaginations always turn to. Kinda like Stargate the movie, making out the pyramids are more than what they actually are. We always fill in the knowledge gaps, extraordinary unknowns as an imaginative possibility. Ah, the oldest sci-fi trick in the book. Mechanical structures. This gets the imagination jump started. That is the intention of the design. Now the player is asking questions. Now the player is more immersed. We have a large precursor tower in the center of the area. The first boss is encountered in this tower, a giant plant boss, which is a common boss design in games. I'm sure I have seen this style of enemy many times. The boss is fairly easy if you just stay outside this circle. This way you will only have to be concerned with dealing with the boss's spawn and not its bite. This guy needs a mention.
Talk about. Them monsters patrolling the ocean took a bite out of me fishing rig, and now they're gobbling up me catch. No matter what I try.
This is the fisherman, and he has a challenge for me to complete. This minigame involves catching fish. The minigame is very simple and poses a good break from the adventure. It's not easy and not hard. After a few tries I completed this challenge, It was tense by the end, and I nearly hit the roof when I passed it.
You did it! You caught 200 pounds of fish! Not bad for a couple of landlubbers. Here's the power cell I promised.
Yes, it ends very abruptly with him yelling at you. Now the fisherman starts laughing. It's quite a laugh, very contagious. I was just wondering if he would ever stop laughing. He has given me access to his boat. I'll use it at some stage. These launch pads are insane. I really love them. I love the noise they make and the sense of scale they reveal as Jak is being launched up like a rocket. After completing Forbidden Jungle, we might have enough power cells to enter Fire Canyon with our modified zoomer. Kira will let us know when we can.
Good. You've collected enough power cells to fuel my heat shield. Meet me by the entrance to the Fire Canyon by climbing the cliff behind the farmer's house.
This game never leaves the player to figure it out. It always sends a message in some way. Fire Canyon is a passage to the next main area. The main areas in Jak and Daxter are a very discrete hub world that connect to all other sub-areas. Fire Canyon is a rite of passage, a challenge. You could see it as a boss battle or a clever way to load in assets. Maybe. It would make sense. It's a low memory corridor that sits in between two main areas. Maybe as soon as you get to the center, the previous area is then unloaded and the forthcoming one is loaded in. I'm not going to look it up because I just want to think about it. Chunking out the world, occlusion culling, there are many techniques to level loading and they would have used many of them. Fire Canyon feels like a game of whack-a-mole. You just don't know what to aim for when things get chaotic. The good news is you can replay this area, so it's good to not worry about all the stuff, not get distracted, and just get through it. Now we are in the next main area. The game introduces a little dread here. The area is ransacked, and we are now over the sunny holiday vibe.
That looks like the blue sage threw a party.
Oh my! Rock Village is on...
The sage who resides here has vanished, probably kidnapped. Where has everyone gone? Feels empty. Well, not everyone. We have a few NPCs here to talk to, very similar to Sandover Village. Like the first area, we have a main objective, and that is to move this rock. To do that, we will have to collect power cells.
We're gonna need power cells to fuel it. I guess you two are going to have to find some more.
So that is exactly what I not only plan to do, but cannot wait to do. That is what a good collectathon will do to someone. So now we can state the game loop. The idea is to run around finding things. Tasks set by any NPC are always serial in their approach. They do not generally require the player to do something ultra specific. They get done just by playing and collecting these breadcrumbs. You just have to talk to these people to unveil the tasks. This game is not GTA yet. No walled mission structure. The game loop is essentially that of a typical collectathon, except the narrative is on average at a higher bar, comparatively for its time. It's a focus and the game's quality is high, making for quite an addictive collectathon. It's hard to put down. So the loop is similar to colouring in a circle. Run forward and pick up and all collectibles as you play. Challenges included. Once you have coloured in most of the area, start colouring in the missed details. Move to the next circle. Note, it is very important in the design of a collectathon that the second part of this loop exists. Missing details in a level, even soft locked collectibles, are what make a good collectathon. Going over and finding out how to get everything is what makes the player stay, greatly padding out the game. In other words, collecting everything in a straight path is too quick, not enough fibre. The game will need a lot more content to keep things reasonable. So that's the loop, as I see it. It has layers mixed in to mask the simplicity of it all. The Lost Precursor City. The difficulty instantly ramps up here in the Lost Precursor City, and I am finding the double jump is not as forgiving as I am used to. The window to press jump again to qualify the double jump is short and is the main reason for frustration. It only really allows success at the top of the jump, so you have to find that rhythm and not lean on the jump button. Press jump, then quick tap again is the idea. You can also use circle attack to float while up in the air, kind of like a triple jump. Just to mention, I am not complaining about the double jump. While jumping around, I am definitely awake and present. Yes, a little frustrated, but that's okay. I'm a big boy. And yes, you will find that you will be on the razor's edge when traversing through some of the more challenging areas. Now, can you say that's bad game design? I'm engaged, and that's the whole point. Everything boils down to getting power cells. These two are obsessed with power cells. Orbs become power cells because you use them to buy power cells. Scout flies are collectible. There are 7 scout flies in each area. Once you get all 7, Jak is rewarded with a power cell. Exploration equals finding power cells. Tasks equal getting power cells. Challenges, power cells. The cover should have been a picture of this, a power cell. But you gotta love it. It all divides down to 1, and that 1 is a power cell. Now, I didn't happen to see any high energy demand devices back at the village. To ask why. Why do we need so many power cells? Anyway, back to the Lost City. This place is full of awkward platforms, and I just want to leave. Now, how come when Jak falls into Dark Eco, he doesn't become a squirrel? I have just surfaced from that awful place, and I feel really good to be out of there. I'm having fun, even though that was a trying area.
Wow! You raised a piece of the underwater ruins to the surface. It seems you can use eco in ways we've never seen before. A power cell surfaced with the room. Climb up there and get it.
Radio helpers. I talk about them briefly in my Bioshock video. I'm glad to be over that, and now I'm looking forward to just continuing on the adventure. Boggy Swamp introduces something to the game loop. This yellow eco introduces projectiles added onto the attack, in addition to the game loop. We are doing the exact same thing, searching for collectibles. If you think about it, eco is the game's modifier, or one of them. It is a system in which the designers are able to change the gameplay. It's simple and it works. Also, here's another one. Vehicles. We have a zoomer, and now we have this bird named Flut Flut. Creative names. Zoomer and Flut Flut. The board really earned their salaries on those naming days. It's all about breaking the monotony in the gameplay while keeping the loop. That is what I'm observing. When people say gameplay is repetitive, it usually means one of two things. 1, they just don't like the game. They are not into the particular game loop. If they do like the style of game and loop, and they don't like the game, then it almost certainly is because the game loop does not add layers. However, some people can happily play a non-layered loop for years on end. These people are just what I call doom scrolling a game, and are content with that. The market, I would say, is made up mostly of this type of person, and these types of gamers generally do not like things to change too much. Yeah, bland, I know. Here we have a bridge-like area, a break in the gameplay. This area is a great little challenge. Good to complete everything here as soon as you can, as the later levels will need the player to be proficient on this zoomer thing. What is a bridge level? It's a term I use. I named it that because you know when you're listening to a song and you are just humming along, then the song hits a part where the rhythm changes a little and you, the listener, are a little thrown off. In music, that's called a bridge. It is used to break the pattern off the song for a bit and create a different feel before ultimately returning you to the main idea. It creates contrast. The game has to do this, otherwise you might just get bored with the game loop. This area feels annoying at first because you want the same old. Well, I did, but by the end of it, you will either say, yeah, I enjoyed that, or gee, I'm glad to be over that and are now looking forward to the main idea. So now we have enough power cells to move this rock. Great. Or so I thought. This boss is easy. He never killed me once, yet I died 1,000,000 times. It wasn't the boss, it was the fact that I still do not know how to double jump or gauge the distance, and kept falling into the lava. Very difficult area, but with the persistence of knowing I have to make a video about this because I started it, and that's that. Now, not much to say about this boss. It is clever. It does the job. Causes the player to stop and overcome something, giving value to what comes next. With that being beat, I'd expect another town.
And activate the teleport gate so that Father and I can join you.
We have another challenge. We have to use this zoomer to beat these three to the end. At first, the zoomer is a fairly difficult machine to handle, but once you get the hang of this thing, it actually really starts to shine, and it feels like it could be a game on its own.
Beat them there and destroy the detonator, or it's all over.
So Naughty Dog has really worked on their systems. I enjoy the game quite a lot. This is a good game. It's similar to A Woman who is a little hard to get. I am really proud of how far I have come. This is a challenging area, but it's not that hard. Much easier than Fire Canyon, or maybe I am just getting better. Now we are really getting somewhere. This third town isn't a town, it's a foolishly placed house. We have a similar goal to Sandover Village. We need more power cells to improve the zoomer. This area is dangerous. It's a main area, so that tells me we are near the end. I met these two miners in a cave. I initially thought this was a level and I had to get these two to unlock it. All we have to do is bring them orbs in exchange for power cells.
Think, Willard? Howdy, strangers. Passing through? Us too. Well, we gotta be moving on. Nothing to see here.
I thought you said this was a priceless gem worth...
Willard!
Actually, we want power cells, not gems.
This game gives you easy outs. A way to get power cells without doing the harder challenges. If you can do anything in this game, it is explore. So you will collect orbs. A lower skilled player could squeeze out enough orbs to buy power cells. There are power cells in this game that are pretty hard to get, and for some they might be impossible. The game is feeling long enough. I am near the 8-hour mark, which used to be the gold standard.
I've reactivated the gondola. It can take you to Snowy Mountain.
After speaking to the miners, I am on my way up, taking a ride. I'm about to hit one of those trying areas, Snowy Mountain. I love how generically everything is named in Jak and Daxter. Snowy Mountain, Boggy Swamp, Fire Canyon. I bet they were placeholder names that just ended up sticking. Same for the zoomer and Flut Flut. I've been doing the same with my game. Here I have Wet Cave, and here, Dense Bush. Now trust the universe to bring out the holes in the design when a challenging area is played. Difficulty will do that. This level has an awkward layout. I won't moan too much about it, but I will moan about the health system and the way it is executed. Now, I am a fairly average gamer. I might even be above average. I'm not sure about how this health system is managed. I like the approach, and let me explain. You can't take too many hits. 3 hits, pretty standard stuff. The issue is how it's all tuned. Health is called green eco, and you need to collect 50 worth of it to fill 1 health segment. Green eco is in crates, in clusters of 2, 4 and even 5. Some chests have a large bit of green eco, that will fill your current house segment all the way. I like the idea because you can have a lot of chests about to smash. Good to keep the player busy as they are getting along. Enemies also drop green eco. What's the issue? Well, I just don't think there's enough opportunity to get 50 points. You have to search your area for it, and that increases the risk of getting hit again. Often it's quicker just to die and spawn back with your free hit points intact. I would have put more green eco in the enemies. The enemies carry about as much as the crates. I find I don't really want to bother with enemies a lot of the time. They are too high risk. 10% more green eco availability may have been the sweet spot, and perhaps give more reason to take on the enemy. Yeah, there are many ways they could have tuned this. It's really just my opinion that we needed more orbs about the place. One thing that I felt Snowy Mountain brought out was a not good third-person camera. Jak Daxter has a good camera as it compares for the time, but let me share my bit about this camera idea, and as always my complaint ends up making no sense. Sometimes when I'm platforming, I feel that the camera needs to be further back, so I may gauge where Jak is landing, using his shadow to guide me. When that shadow moves out of port, then I am blind for a bit. Further back would allow a better downwards view over ledges too. There is a big problem with this idea though. As it improves the view, it increases the size of Jak. The camera is always with you. It is a part of the character. If we were to move it back, it would cause the camera to spit out when backed up to a wall. The camera has a physics collider too. They need to, otherwise you'll end up seeing the inside of walls, and this would become even more annoying, which just looks unpolished. So they have moved the camera closer to behind Jak. Very good. We now have a compromise, and that's all it is. Compromise. When anyone complains about the camera not being good, what they are really saying is, this level is too cramped, or this area is not allowing space for the camera to move freely. The camera is like a tail. It hits things. Or the ledges are too narrow. This is a difficult thing to design for. These environments are dynamic and feel very real in composition. Games like God of War completely remove this by putting the camera on rails, placing constraints on the camera. At any point, Jak is a game you have to get good at. You have to be able to run towards the camera and platform comfortably, and you will have to scan your environments beforehand to anticipate your future actions, all in milliseconds. Now you, the viewer, are probably thinking, this guy is always telling me bad things are actually good. And yes, I am. The gaming landscape can become very bland and boring because games have over-optimized themselves due to complaints, due to reviewers' complaints mainly. Nowadays, you can't get away with cameras like this, so you have to tone things down. The player will just have to become better and more capable if they are allowed to continue in this particular game. This is a video game, not a right to proceed. There are times when Jak moves the camera to a side view, and yeah, they could have done that for all the awkward areas, and that would have negated a lot of the complaints. However, that's cotton wool, a concept that negates growth or any coping mechanism in difficult situations in games and real life. So let's just call it what it is. An awkward camera at times, and it's not a game breaker. The sub-areas in this last section of the game are not my favourite. I might want it to be over soon, and it's the awkwardness that is the culprit. I'm busy just getting things done until I got to this area. The checkpoint is at the entrance of this cave. You have to race up this shaft. It's dark in here, so you have to keep refreshing these lights, which is done by attacking them. You kind of feel you should rush because the light fades after a few seconds. Getting to the top isn't too difficult, but once you get up there, it seems impossible to grab this ledge. The approach to this ledge is awkward, and we have these drop boards that don't allow me to find the right position to make the final leap. I tried this for hours. Yeah, a long time. Sometimes with games, you just don't get it right, and bad luck can be a reality. I will most likely get this the first time on another day. I get desperate and start trying weird things. I just cannot grab it. Is there something I'm missing? Nah, I'm sure this is how you do it. As I get more frustrated, I get worse at the climb. It's really driving me nuts. And I get to the point where I just have to say no, and I have to put it down. I don't have to get up there. I only need X amount of power cells to continue the story. Well, you gotta try for things, but I can come back here if I want to achieve 100% at a later stage. I just cannot believe this past level testing. I am indignant. And then I can hear some of you watching and saying, oh god, that's easy, that took me one go. Didn't you say earlier that you were above average gamer? Well, I guess not.
Due to your zoomer if the shield gives out.
Yeah, the heat. What? The zoomer? Hey, what about us? Don't you think we could look
Lava
for a
Tube
safer
is a
route
more
to go?
serious version of both Fire Canyon and Mountain Pass. This area greatly layers up the zoomer gameplay. And you need to sum up all of your zoomer experience. Narrow paths, very little time to take in what's around me. Feels like a Motion Master, very epic ride, and you could say difficult. I am so razor focused on getting to the end, I don't see anything else. The game is ramping up now. The final area feels like a Dr. Robotnik level from Sonic. I think it's the music. Here is where Gol and Maya have the missing sages trapped. Now he has Samos. This is all revealed here. So we only were guessing until now. This level has you put it all together. Everything we have learned. Double jump, blind jumping, running towards the camera. It feels like they squeezed it all in. The area I did not find too challenging. But I should have the skills after 8 hours of play. One after the other I released the sages until I get to the final sage, Samos. Didn't really want to release him. I don't really like this guy. Just before I finish this design review, I want to talk about the main characters in this game.
Yeah, that sounds like a good start.
This is what you've been waiting for, I think, I hope. This is a game where characters are there to make the game work. The world makes sense. There is absolutely no depth to any of these characters. They are there to anchor the play, kind of like watching an episode of Stranger Things. The game does it well with no overlapping archetypes. This is a tween game. It's time to be a progression of Spyro and Crash. And Jak 2 is the next step. He has a goatee in that one. Samos the Green Sage. Now this is the most interesting character in the game. And in my opinion, and I am just going to jump straight to the point, Samos is manipulative. He is terrible. Let me break it down. What I have observed. Samos withholds information from the boys. He pushes them into dangerous situations while saying it is their destiny. He knew Gol was evil. He was being honest when he said that he could change Daxter back to human. But he didn't fill in the gap that Gol probably wouldn't do it. He always withholds very important information, otherwise the boys wouldn't do it. But at the same time, he tells the truth. He discourages questions. Hey, I think the only reason he has chosen Jak is because Jak is one of those types that just does and doesn't talk back. Jak is always quietly subdued. Just so happens he found his opposite in Daxter, and Samos doesn't really like that. He treats Daxter like a criminal, puts him down every opportunity he gets, while discouraging questions. He acts as if he has the absolute truth. Guilt trips. He will tell the boys that the world depends on you, using phrases like this to steer them, manipulate them towards his goal. Regarding game design, Samos is a perfect motivator. Manipulation is known as a bad word with a loaded meaning, and like any human behavior, it's a spectrum. But my channel is about getting wiser and not thinking in straight lines. We manipulate from birth, and if we didn't, we wouldn't survive as individuals. But the manipulation that Samos uses here is at macro level, high spectrum manipulator. Logically, he cannot care about anyone else if he knowingly puts any one person up against something dangerous. So he must only care about his place in the world, and the fear of losing that place motivates his behavior. Kira. Nothing much to say here. Kira is the bookkeeper and such. She helps keep the goal alive with a world like this that has collectibles. Everywhere we need some sort of rubber band that pulls the player back and heads in the correct direction. Without this engineer personality archetype, the machines within the world cannot make sense. Go and Maya. As far as antagonists are concerned, this is not a good one. We barely see these two. I completely forgot these two existed until the end. In contrast, in Spyro the Dragon, Ripto is shown often. These characters were woven into the fabric of the game. Go and Maya are not. Not sure why. Probably because this guy is a true antagonist, Samos. But like Samos, these two are just trying to keep their place or relevance in the world. Their method is just getting the lurkers to do it. That's the difference. Daxter. My favourite. I have saved him until the end. Daxter is the release. You feel for Daxter. At the same time, you don't have to. He makes any situation work for him. He is quietly unconfident, yet posturing. He has to be, because of small dog syndrome. Except without the aggression. Well, because he's a little too smart for that, you see. Instead of getting angry at something, he will likely find another angle or approach, or just realize that going with it is his only option, as he has no leverage in this world. Daxter is the main character here, and Jak is just his body. Jak is Daxter in this game. Jak is the inner warrior that is within us all. Daxter, the most well-rounded character in this game. Now, I'm not saying he is well-rounded, just the best here. I like him and he is made that way. This game is designed for youth primarily. In summary, these characters are not complex. The game would have been worse if the characters had any more depth than what they do here. It's perfect. Go and Maya are the only things I would have tuned here. I would have added more cutscenes. I would have involved them more. But there are always reasons, and Naughty Dog would be fully aware. We are nearly there. You can feel a major boss coming, and we take this long ride up this elevator shaft, which, again, is another loading trick. Anyway, you knew that, didn't you? Onwards and upwards. We have to talk about this final boss. This thing is epic. A Precursor Sentinel, brought to life by harnessing the powers of the sages while they were imprisoned. I had a great time here. This boss isn't about challenge, it's about going out with a bang. I get the feeling that was the goal too. It only took me one go to defeat, and nowhere in the battle did I feel stressed. The moments that make this boss punch are the areas where you have to launch up to avoid an explosive blast. Once you get this boss hurt, a phase will start, where it will load up ready for the kill shot. You can hear Go and Maya commanding in almost a panic state to get the shot off.
Once and for all!
You only have a certain amount of time to get from one side of the tower to the other, so you can avoid the blast by launching yourself into the stratosphere. It's a totally epic moment, and as usual, I want to break it down. Break it into its different systems. First, the music. It's well done, gives a sense of urgency while also having a great rhythm to play to. The launch pads. These are one of my favourite things in the game, as I mentioned earlier. I have never played a game that has launch pads like this. The reason must be the sound punching in and whizzing down in perfect timing with the environment expanding below you. The sound simulates the velocity. I'm going to jump out on a limb here and say that the sound replicates the Doppler effect, or the sensation of it. As we move away from the sound source, at the base of the pad, the sound waves are stretched and they fade in volume and deepen. That would be the real effect of such a thing, if the human body could handle it. I don't think it could. Jak is a real athlete. Add that with the urgency of the situation and the thud of the kill shot as we quickly escape. Once you break it down, there's not really much to it. A really good launch pad really, and some music. All these fairly simple mechanics multiplied into a really great moment. This moment is redone a few more times until the Precursor boss has been defeated, and with that the game has a quick ending and the credits roll. So the game is finished, but it's not complete. There's a door that we have to open and to do that we have to collect everything in the game. And because of that ledge part, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. So I've got other games to get on with now. So if you want to find out what's in there, you're going to have to play the game yourself. So that's the game done. Well, finished at about 80%. So what is my take on the game design here? Well, I'm just going to say that yes, it is a well-designed game. We had a talented team here that was pushing the boundaries of game development. There was a certain gold rush of possibilities back then, and it would have been exciting to be a part of.
Hi, I'm Jason Rubin from Naughty Dog. We're here today to give you a behind-the-scenes look into the making of Crash.
Alright, so if you made it this far, thank you and congratulations. So what did you think of my design mini documentary? Please comment below. I am a developer myself, but most of all, I am a creator. Your creator. Subscribe for more out-of-the-box philosophy on gaming. Thank you.